Ogechukwu Nkere, why? Ogechukwu Nkere, why? In fact, biko cool down. Gregodi, Kefugodi nye Ogechukwu Nkere mereba. Eh? Hi! Just watch go there this video. Watch this video.
This is happening live at the US Congress.
And we will tell our story to the world. And this is the first Biafra congressional briefing. I know that Nigeria is taking. If I tell you, you won't believe. Nigerian government, they protest to stop this hearing today. Thank you all for being here today. It is an honor to speak today during this historical congressional briefing on Biafra, the first in modern times. I want to thank Michael Rubin, which we are just giving hand of applause now before, of the American Enterprise Institute for his unwavering support and friendship to the Biafran people. Today, I will provide a broad overview of Biafra issue for all those watching. Nigeria is oil-rich country. When we say Nigeria, it's Biafran oil. Marco just on his speech, he made it clear. It's Biafran oil. And a continent power in Africa. It is a multi-ethnic, multi-language, and multi-religious country with a population of about over 200 million people. There are three major ethnic groups: the Igbo, the Yoruba, and the Hausa Fulani, and 250 other smaller ethnic groups. The Hausa Fulani are predominantly Muslim and live in the northern Sahara of part of Nigeria. The Yoruba who live in the southwest are split almost even between Muslim and Christian. The Igbos, along with related tribes whom we refer to as Biafrans, the interface of this submission, inhabit the southeast part of Nigeria, which is Biafra, and we are no longer Nigeria. We don't identify ourselves as Nigeria, we are Biafra. Part of Nigeria, which is combined population of over the Biafrans population and over 70 million. Biafrans are predominantly Christians and traditional worshippers, with constituencies also practicing Judaism. Their land is blessed with human and mineral resources, including vast hydrocarbon. Biafrans are very commercially inclined, industrious, and are given to scholarly and professionally pursuit in addition to their first nature of gifted martialized. They had an established grassroots democracy order known as the Amunna system, which is still practiced to this day, before the advent of colonization. They are very republican and arbitrary in nature and coexist peacefully with their neighbors, including northern Nigeria and Cameroon, prior to their amalgamation with the rest of Nigeria in 1914. Biafra then, there was no single massacre of Biafrans anywhere in pre-amalgamation in the so-called Nigeria. This is noteworthy. The first start of this program that was levied on Biafrans, particularly the Igbos, among them happened in the 1948 in northern Nigeria, where Biafrans were, without any justification, massacred just for being Biafran or merely looking like one, pivoting on false narrative of the so-called Igbo coup, an Igbo plot to dominate Nigeria. Nigeria's military officers and the police and notable civilians, mostly from the north, planned and executed the Biafrans. Over 3 million Biafrans were murdered between 29th May 1966 and 12th January 1970. And had the Biafrans not resisted by unilaterally declaring its independence, the massacre would have been incalculable and more horrendous. There is credible evidence that sectional Nigeria provoked the Nigerian Civil War as a cover-up to accomplish the genocide that they have begun against Biafra. Generally, and the Igbos in particular, as far back as 1948 in northern Nigeria, the difference this time was to take it to their homeland, where they had fled and taken refuge under the Hitler-declared Republic of Biafra, a nation born in dire necessity and desperation to survive a genocide. The following aspect from recent declassified U.S. Embassy diplomatic dispatch of the era on the program and the war that follows is instructive, and it states that the North was minded to use the war as a tool to resort its dominance of natural affairs. Malan Gagu Damboa, regional editor of Morning Post, told the American consul in Kaduna, "No one should kid himself that this is a fight between the East and the rest of the Nigeria. It is a fight between the North and the Igbos. The scale of the carnage was such that had the Roman or International Criminal Court statutes been enacted, Nigeria's entire military leadership and its top civilians enablers would have been prosecuted for genocide and crime against humanity, for orchestrating the destruction of Biafrans in whole or in substantial part because of their ethnicity. And to make it worse, those that oversaw the genocide and their natural political successor continue to control Nigeria and thus ensure that no accountability was exacted for a crime of such shocking scale. And to date, no apology or remorse has emanated from official Nigeria or any of the prime state actors. It is this state of affairs and the post-war political suppression of Biafrans that grandfathered the insurgency of Biafra agitation in recent times. The modern-day Biafra independent movement surfaced in 1999 with the creation of movement of the actualization of sovereign state of Biafra Mazur in 1999 by Chief Owazurike, in 2012 by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a protege of Chief Owazurike, then created the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, in 2012, which became the predominant Biafra independence organization. Post-war agitation for Biafra and support for IPOB accelerated in late 2015 when former President Muhammad Buhari systematically embarked on widespread anti-Igbo policies, coupled with his open toleration of Fulani Islamic terror that was breaching the northern reach of the Igbo land. It was in the face of this that the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and the idea of Biafra government in exile gained much traction as protector and defender of the people that have been detained by the government of the day of Nigeria. It is to be noted that virtually all of us present at the vanguard of pursuing for Biafra were born after Nigeria Civil War ended in 1970. So in our renewed quest for Biafra, we are not driven by any sense of personal loss of the war, revenge or bitterness, but by instead a sense that our people are being mistreated badly and are vigorously in again becoming the victim of another people genocide. Vast majority of the Biafrans share the same view, even so, quietly because of fear of retribution by the Nigerian government or other non-state actors in alliance with the government. Amnesty International reports that since the advent of the former Buhari administration in 2015, Nigerian insecurity forces have killed more than thousands of Biafrans and wounded many more while they held peaceful protests against the killing and for self-determination. Amnesty International says that many of those pro-Biafra protesters were shot and killed in their sleep, and others while they gathered in churches to pray. Many of the protesters were shot and killed from behind while they tried to escape. Contemporaries country report released by the United States Department confirmed such of this, particularly the Nigerian government declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization in October 2017, which gave a dubious legal cover to Nigerian security forces to resort extrajudicial killing of Biafra perceived by self-determination agitator or members of IPOB. As such, as you are reading this, the other killings of Biafrans by the Fulani Islamic terrorists is ongoing as we speak. The killing have not stopped to date, especially in the northern boundary of Igbo land, such that several innocent villagers were murdered in Ebonyi State in February 2025. Igbo communities to bury their brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters almost every month. And after times, the violence is maliciously and falsely attributed to unknown government or faceless Biafran separatists. In the face of all this, and in the perception that rogue elements of the security forces are complicit, the Biafran government in exile emerged as a beacon of hope for Biafrans that have become distrustful of the government. It bears mentioning that when the agitation for Biafra accelerated in late 2015, the response of Nigerian government was disappointingly non-pragmatic. Instead of acknowledging the burgeoning popularity of the agitation and take bona fide measure to contain it through constructive engagement or dialogue, the government went wide with deadly and extrajudicial law enforcement action that backfired by fueling the agitation to levels not seen since the end of the Civil War in 1970. This misguided law enforcement action turned a dangerous corner and boomeranged when the government went rogue by extraordinary rendition of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Biafran leader from Kenya, in late June 2021. No doubt this is an avoidable overreaction that has composed Nigeria's legal system, triggered the international legal order against Nigeria, and bettered the government-driven insecurity that have rocked Southeast Nigeria, which is Biafra land, to this day. In between, Fulani Islamic terrorists have capitalized on the situation to dissuade Southeast Nigeria to no end. After Mazi Nnamdi Kanu illegal kidnapping, one of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protege, Finland-based Biafran activist, His Excellency Mazi Simon Ekpa, took charge of the Biafra independence movement and created the Biafra Republic government in Ezza Brigade, of which he is the Prime Minister. As the next illustration of the Biafra independent movement, the brigade has galvanized the support of the Biafran population and has engaged in high-level dialogue in Washington, D.C. with U.S. government officials. Furthermore, brigade organized a self-referendum in which more than 50 million Biafrans voted in favor of independence. Brigade held an independence convention in Lahti, Finland, which started November 29 to December 2nd, 2024, in which Brigade declared the independence of Biafra on December 2nd, 2024. December 2nd, 2024, Biafra was redeclared. The government of Nigeria, according to Mr. Ekpa, has orchestrated 5 assassination attempts against his life. After allegedly failing to assassinate Mr. Ekpa, the government of Nigeria successfully pressured the government of Finland to arrest Mr. Ekpa in November 2024 on political motivated charges. The government of Finland then issued an indictment against Mr. Ekpa, as well as subsequent conviction, which demonstrate the political nature of the persecution at the instigation of government of Nigeria. The indictment by Finland, issued in May of 2025, alleged that Mr. Ekpa pro-Biafra organization are not designated as terrorist group in Finland or anywhere in the European Union. In fact, the only country in the world where pro-Biafra organization, in fact, the only country in the world where pro-Biafra organization was designated is in Nigeria. For the government of Finland to assert that the Finnish citizen holding political position regarding internal policy matters within Nigeria is somehow a criminal offense in Finland is a nonsensical and absurd, and demonstrate that Finland is engaging in a political motivated prosecution. Nigeria conduct toward both Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa demonstrate transnational repression. At the moment, the issue of Biafra, the insecurity in southeast Nigeria, which is Biafra land, and all the unpleasant aftermath cannot be resolved while the federal government of Nigeria persists in detention of Mazi Kanu, while Finland persists in detention of Mazi Simon Ekpa, and Biafrans continue to be marginalized. On this basis of foregoing, we must respectfully suggest the following to the U.S. government. 1. We urge the United States government to invoke the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act Summit 5 of Title S 11 of 114-28328 to identify and impose travel and financial restrictions on all officials of the federal government of Nigeria and any Nigerian non-state actor implicated in the killing of Biafrans, Christians in their homeland in southeast Nigeria, which is Biafra land. We urge the United States government, including through targeted sanction and or tariff, to pressure the government of Nigeria to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and allow him a safe passage out of Nigeria. 3, we urge the United States government to pressure the government of Finland regarding 8 political motivated trial and conviction against pro-Biafra active Simon Ekpa. 4, we urge the United States government to deny all bilateral assistance and visa to officials of the government of Nigeria if it continues to engage in transnational repression against pro-Biafra activists, and if Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continue to be held in detention. Consequently, Biafra True Brigade are ready to engage with the international community, include the United States of America government, especially in seeking to establish a newly independent Biafra state. The brigade is willing to engage in deal making with U.S. government and come to economic defense and security agreement with the United States. Biafrans represented by brigade are willing to negotiate with the U.S. in reciprocity and in anticipation for specific demand, interest, and expectation of the U.S. recent event in sub-Saharan Africa have created a compelling need for United States of America to get involved in the Gulf of Guinea. There is no better opportunity than that presented by the Biafra. For example, Biafra can be an ideal place for U.S. military base, as well as seaport. Biafra can also be host to African installations. Biafra can be a close ally of the United States and purveyor of Western interests in the region, as well as a bulwark against Islamic terrorists and extremists. This is important now more than ever, given the loss of key U.S. military bases in Sahel countries, as well as the Nigerian government ever closer relations with United States adversaries, a United States designated Islamic terrorist organization. In addition, Nigeria's persecution of Christians continues to worsen and further adds to the case of independent homeland for Nigeria. Christian population, just as U.S. recognized of Somalia, present great benefit to U.S. strategic interest in East Africa. Similarly, Biafra can present opportunities along similar lines for the U.S. in West Africa. We hope today's historical briefing will provide a precedent for further diplomatic engagement. And before I say thank you, we believe that we have sent our message, and we are damn serious for our freedom. We'll continue fighting. Our freedom is our right. No one else can do it better for us than us. And we are sending message to the world, especially the United States of America. We appreciate the opportunity and the privilege they have given us to voice out so that they can do what is right. We believe they are listening. We believe very soon we'll be having more diplomatic engagement with the United States of America, the leader of the free world. Thank you.
Ọkwa ikirichala arụ ahụ Ogechukwu Nkere mere. Ọ kpọtara nwoke wepụtara obi ya, wepụta onwe ya, were chọrọ ndebe anya aja wepụta ego ya ọ bụrụ naanị na ọ wepụtara onwe ya instead nke nwa ga-asọpọt ya ka anyị gbaa mbọ jikọta aka ọnụ were nweta Biafra ịla agba ya mgba. Ọ bụ ịfụhọla ajọ mmụọ ka gị mma. Washington DC anyị erubedi, ndị Igbo erubedi kemgbe ụwa, anyị eruola Washington DC. Ihe ahụ niile anyị na-agba mbọ ka okwu anyị wee wuo la Washington DC. Ogechukwu Nkere durula ụmụ Biafra dubata ha n'ime Washington DC. Ọ bụrụ gịnị na-eme? Ọ bụ ohere ọrụ dịrị gị now ịkwado Biafra Republic Government in exile ka sponsor this recognition anyị na-achọla mba Amerịka. Enwedịkwa obodo ọzọ bụ super power bụ number 1 in the whole world abụrụ Amerịka. Mgbe ọsọ gị gbagharịa elu gbagharịa ala, Amerịka still remain the super power. Enwere onye ga-anapụ ya. Ọ ga-amasị m ka ile sonyere anyị na YouTube anyị Okwute BTV. Ọ bụla ị subscribe bebe, gbaa mbọ subscribe ka ị nwee ike nweta ozi ọbụla anyị na-ezi, maka ọbụla Okwute BTV ka ị na-ekwu eziokwu akụghị mmiri. Mgba tụsa meseji a, tụsa ya ka ụmụ Biafra niile were nne ya.